First of all, in the first few days, they tried to compel me to declare my assets, the assets of my wife and my children, whatever I have in bank account. I was forced to declare it all because of allegation of extortion. Secondly, they took me to my houses and searched all my houses and my offices, all for the allegation of extortion. Thirdly, they tried to compel me to take a lie detector test. And then the next thing they did was they took me into what they call their biometric data room, trying to take my fingerprints and give me a blackboard to hold that contains my offense and then post it on social media, which I objected. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see any fundamental difference in the way bandits and insurgents kidnap citizens and the way Nigerian security kidnap citizens, because they will pick you up, throw you to jail, deny you access and communication with people outside, restrict those who will visit you, and in their cells, we don't even know the difference between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock because they don't allow us to hold wristwatches and there is no wall clock there. So I pity those unknown Nigerians that don't have the privilege of the media like us. When they are arrested by security, you can stay there for a year or two without anybody knowing where you are. And one thing I observe with Nigerian security agencies, both the secret security agencies and the anti-graft agencies, when they arrest their suspect that later becomes a victim, they try to plant stories in the media using syndicated and dedicated journalists who are paid for that purpose, misinforming the public about the person they arrested and the person they are keeping in custody. They try to assassinate his character, damage his reputation, give a bad information about him to the public with the view or with the aim of criminalizing him in the eyes of the public. And it's unfortunate that there are journalists in Nigeria that have offered themselves to do such a dirty work. Professional investigators and detectives will try to investigate matters and to see both the bright and the gray areas, make their reports and submit their files to their legal department and to assess whether such a case is something that they can charge the court. But in Nigeria, when they arrest a suspect, first of all, every paragraph and sentence of his statement is now being doctored, manipulated, and thrown to the public, their own version or their narrative of what the story is all about. And the person who is a suspect has no opportunity to respond to the public that this is the truth of the matter. So you can't fight corruption using a Stalinist approach or a Hitler style. And one thing I have seen them doing is that they have arsenals to crush ants, but they don't have the liver to confront the snakes and hyenas of the establishment. Their approach to fighting corruption is cosmetic, is synthetic, is discriminatory, and it is also full of mischief. And that is why we will continue to be at the bottom level of Transparency International, because the motive and the attention, the concentration and the focus of the corruption we are fighting in Nigeria is the one that is partisan, the one that is biased, the one that is targeted at certain people and silencing people. So as for me, this experience has taught me one practical lesson, that beyond what you see about the posturing of fighting corruption and security, there is the dark underbelly behind it. where security agencies try to do everything possible to sell themselves and destroy the constitutional rights and liberties guaranteed to every suspect. Well, first and foremost, when you have a government and establishment that has a reputation for protecting those with its political interests at heart and those that are on its own political side, and also persecuting and pursuing and hunting those that are critical of it, then you cannot in any way exonerate them from an issue like this. But it has always been the trend that dictatorship and fascist tyrannical style of governance will always do everything possible to silence its critics using all ways possible. If you can recall, and if you can Google, you can see. 2 years ago, there was an attempt to frame me in a murder case, and that did not fly. And now there is the use of a complainant who accused me of that he gave me money to give bribe and I did not give. And if that person was not a state agent, if that person, if the whole drama was not scripted, if the whole drama was not prearranged, such kind of person could have also been charged. But we can't discuss the case before the court, but we can discuss the circumstances that gave birth to these allegations. So as far as I'm concerned, we have a government in power that is intolerant to criticisms, that can do everything possible to suppress and repress people who try to hold them to account or who question the limitation of their power. And when you have such a government, and everything is possible. But if the message I will always send is that we have come a long way. This democracy was fought by us. When we were fighting for this democracy, many of these people were cowardly. They couldn't even speak under Babangida's administration. They couldn't speak under Abacha's administration. Many of them were also siding with tyrants at that very time. We fought for this democracy. So nobody can silence us, whether to use all forms of allegations or to use any form of manipulation of agencies of government to rubbish somebody's image and criminalize it. I don't think that any of this strategy can work as far as we are concerned. The greatest danger for a nation, a democracy, is for those who should speak truth to power, decide to be cowardly or sit on the fence or simply become indifferent. We must not give up. We must hold these people to account. We must continue to remind them that they are not gods. We must continue to remind them that they are elected into office and they must respect the constitution of our country. And if the price is many of us being framed or our character being assassinated, we've been killed, we should be ready to do it. This country must not be silent on matters of good and bad. We must speak the truth and we must hold these people to account.